Welcome to Manifest It Like a Woman, where we talk about wisdom, wildness, becoming, a podcast for the woman unfolding. My name is Amber Turner, and I am your host. And in this podcast, we explore the sacred and sometimes messy intersection of womanhood and feminine spirituality. Through poetic musings, honest reflections, and a wild woman wisdom, we unravel the beauty of becoming, not as performance, but as birthright. This is a love story between you and the woman you're becoming. Let's get into the episode. Welcome to Manifest It Like a Woman. We are back. And let me reintroduce myself. My name is Amber Turner, the author of Manifest It Like a Woman, and you're listening to the podcast Manifest It Like a Woman, formerly Manifesting Basics, but we've rebranded. We have a new name. We are talking about new things. We aren't really talking about new things, but we're here. That doesn't even make any sense. It's interesting. I was setting up my Substack for Manifest It Like a Woman because I wanted to share more insights about womanhood and feminine spirituality and all the things. And I was like, I haven't done a podcast in a long time, and I really want to get back into it to really share some things from my book, Manifest It Like a Woman, but some other deeper insights that I come across, experience, download, and meditation, all the things. Life is quite interesting. It's been quite a journey. And I think that this is the perfect sacred space to talk about these things, right? So here we are. So I wanted to share that, yes, we are in a rebrand. My book, Manifesting Made Basic, was what the previous podcast was based off of. So hence Manifesting Basics. But my latest book, or my latest books, Why He Showed Up, which is a spiritual guide to healing from toxic relationships and narcissism. And my latest book that just released, Manifest It Like a Woman, is along the same lines. It's from the lens of a woman. So this is feminine spirituality. And I like to say our new tagline is wisdom, wildness, becoming, a podcast for the woman unfolding. Yes. And so we will be talking about many different topics as it pertains to women and the things we go through. We have a specific lens in which we see life. And I think and believe that this is necessary, especially during this time, for women to have a space where we can explore the deeper parts of ourselves. And I think that's really important, especially if you grew up in a certain religions. Spirituality has often come from a lens, a male lens, or from men's perspectives. And I really want this to be a space where we can really share our perspective. It be a sacred space where we can dive deeper into womanhood and what that means to us and our different experiences. So I'm really excited. I really didn't have a plan for this podcast. I just had been having a self care day. It's very nourishing, definitely needed, always needed. And I was in my office and looking at my book. I had saw a video earlier today about matriarchy, and I said, well, let's do an reintroduction podcast. It doesn't have to be long. This can be messy. This doesn't have to be something that is so much pressure. And that's one thing that been that's been unfolding in my life is that I need to give myself more grace and live in more softness because I am soft. I am nourishing. I am these things. And so I choose to live from there. And so if it shows up messy, if it's not perfect, if it's not like all those things that people say it has to be, then oh well. I don't want this to be that way. I want us to be able to be real with ourselves, give ourselves grace, be softer with ourselves, and let ourselves be wild and messy because those are also part of the feminine experience. It's this chaotic, emotional wildness, sensual, pleasurable, sexiness, all the things. That is part of feminine energy as well. And for us to deny that doesn't do anyone any favors. It, in fact, is more of a disservice to us where we can't express ourselves. And it's interesting because I was having this conversation with someone about relationship and being in our full expression and what that means and what that looks like, and having your partner be able to hold space for that and you be held in your fullest expression, not what society says it's okay and you have to dim your light and you have to make yourself smaller to fit into a box. You are not too much. You are not too much. And I think that allowing ourselves to go there is also good for everyone else. It shows the beauty and the uniqueness of women. We are not this monolith. I think that's how you say it. This is going to be messy, I'm telling you. But I think that's really important for us to lean into is this. Not everything has to be perfect. We don't have to be perfect. We can show up in our messiness and our wildness, and that's okay. And that's it. And I think I was mentioning something about, I saw a video earlier today about matriarchy, and I wanted to talk about it from my book, Manifest It Like a Woman, and what I said about the patriarchy versus the matriarchy, and share that. And this is actually somewhat vulnerable for me to share because I don't often talk in these ways. I always, for the most part, and I even believe if you look back on the previous podcast, Manifesting Basics, I pretty much played it safe, mainstream, and didn't truly share some of these deeper things of the feminine, whether it's sensuality, whether it's pleasure, whether it's sexuality, whether it's wildness, whether it's these emotional things and rage and all the things that makes us beautiful and flavorful and all the things and colorful and flirting and all those things that make us feel alive. That's that moving energy, that aliveness. And I don't often talk about those things. I don't share those things, and I don't want to continue because these conversations should be had. And you really have to, at least for me, I have to think, why do I feel like I can't talk about these things? I don't need anyone else's permission. And that's one journey I've been conquering as recently is this need for permission. It might be a desire or need for permission to express myself. And I don't need anyone to give me permission to do that. So, back to talking about the matriarchy. I hear now, I don't have TikTok and I plan to keep it that way, but I do hear that there is a trend on TikTok about the rise of matriarchy or wanting this matriarchy to return and all the things and down with patriarchy. Now, I can get down with that. I understand it. And being in the space of femininity and feminine energy, it's a slippery slope because I know initially when people's the rise of talking about feminine energy and being in your feminine and all that kind of stuff, it kind of got distorted into this meek, mild, cookie cutter, unflavored, basic type of chick. You know what I mean? That still you had to fit into what society deemed you should be. And that's not feminine energy whatsoever. Actually, it, if you ask me, it's the complete opposite because feminine energy is wild, it's chaotic, it's emotional, it's dynamic. It is all these things. It is not shut up in color at all. It's colorful, but it's not shut up in color for sure. So I want to read somewhat of what I talked about patriarchy versus matriarchy from my book, Manifested Like a Woman. And if you're interested in being a part of one of my founding members, or I have a group discount too, if you want to do it as a group for my Substack, definitely check me out. I'm going to leave the link in the show notes for that because I don't remember what my link is. But so, this is from my book, Manifest Like a Woman. Matriarchal societies are less common in recorded history, but they did exist and still do in pockets today. They're not about women rule. Quotes. Um, in a patriarchal system, society moves from the top down. Authority begins in the head, air quotes head, which we talk about in the book head, the top, that's mind, being conscious mind, masculine energy, the rulers, the laws, the structures, and then flows downward to the body of the people. And body of the people, body is feminine. So it moves from head, the rulers, the laws, and structures, downward to the body of the people. So masculine down to feminine. It is linear, hierarchical, and concerned with order and control. By contrast, a matriarchal system is not about domination, but expansion. It begins in the body of the people, in being in the womb of life and the rhythms of nature. And from there, it moves upward into wisdom, thought, and expression. It is circular, nourishing, and ascending, more like a spiral than a straight line. In other words, in the patriarchal way, life begins in the head. The mind dictates structures, and structures are imposed, and the body of the people must follow. It is a descent, thought pressed down into matter, often heavy with control. But in the matriarchal way, life begins in the body and being. From presence and sensuality, inspiration rises like breath, spiraling upward to the mind, where thought becomes clear and luminous. It is not a descent, but an ascent, an expansion that moves in circles and spirals, nourishing all it touches. So basically, it is this idea that some circles they call it decentralization. Centralization means that like few companies kind of monopolize everything versus where it used to be in tribal days and the smaller communities where the communities knew best. The body of the people created the rules and the structures and the laws and actually governed land and the people. It came from the body of the people versus top down, where there's a few rulers, kings, presidents that dictate to the body of the people on how they live. So this idea of beingness, you want to live. And the desire of how you live comes from the body of the people because they are more in touch with the land and community and how it operates versus top down structure that's not really in touch with the land. So, in some circles, like I said, they call it centralization and versus decentralization, where the decentralization, they support local businesses. They support local mom and pop shops, and they buy local farmers, and they stay in season. They are in rhythm with Mother Nature, so they are not like structures like Walmart or something. They're not importing things that are out of season and something. They actually are in rhythm with the land and buy from local farmers and the community. They work together in creating a beautiful life, creating a beautiful community, and it's very community focus, partnership focus. Whereas, like I said, You can say with the patriarchy, which is about hierarchy, it's a centralization where you'll see that certain businesses or certain, it's dominating in certain industries. And so there's no collaboration. So this idea of rhythm, matriarchy is this idea of rhythm and collaboration, partnership, and being more beingness. And when I mean beingness, and when I talk about beingness in the book too, it is this oneness. They are operating as one. And so it's from the body of the people up, and things inspire. This is the rising of the spirit. This is when the spirit rises and harmony ensues versus this more separated down from mind to body, which is conscious mind. We talk about the conscious mind and body, which is descent. When it goes from mind to body, is descendants. Whereas inspiration rises from body to mind, that's inspiration, that's being in spirit, that is ascension. And so it's this, it is not about women ruling versus men ruling. It is the way in which life unfolds, if that makes sense. So I wanted to share that because I think it's important that we are educated on what a matriarchy is. He said in some circles, they don't call it a matriarchy, they just call it decentralization. It's bringing the power back to the people, the body of the people. So that is what a matriarchy society, how it operates and what it looks like. And if you ask me, it sounds very beautiful. It sounds harmonious. It sounds like heaven on earth, right? And that's the idea. And in my book, I also talk about this idea of thoughts arising from your beingness, from the body, thoughts arising from beingness. This is bringing heaven on earth, as this is ascension versus descension and allowing the ego, mind, to rule. And that is how the patriarchy operates. This is ego ruling. And that's basically what it boils down to. So I did want to share that. And that's all I really wanted to share today. Again, this is the rebrand from Manifesting Basics. And yeah, I really wanted to share that and what's going on. So I do want to share too, if you are a founding member of my Substack, you also receive my book, Manifested Like a Woman, the ebook, and Why He Showed Up, the guide, the spiritual guide to healing from toxic relationships and narcissism as an ebook as well. So you'll see those two books. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode and its messiness, but we're here and you can expect if you enjoyed this, subscribe on all platforms. I don't know how this, I forgot how to do this, but yeah, I will check you guys in the next episode of Manifest It Like a Woman.